If you are struggling, what should you do to help yourself?
That's a good question. Routine is very important for people. With COVID and the social distancing and the limitations of what's happening, working from home, those types of things, people have had a routine in their life before, and this kind of threw them out of sorts. So developing a routine is very important. Going for a walk, certain time of the day, doesn't have to be all, trying to get your heart rate up. It's just doing things at the same time during the day helps put some structure in your life. And then being open for feedback, from other people, listening to others, talking to others, and then looking out for others as well. It's always helpful. Service to others is always important.
You were just hearing from David Anderson from Hazelden Betty Ford Clinics. Isolation is taking a toll on those already dealing with an addiction. Nationally, we've seen a sharp increase in overdose deaths over last year, and the numbers of non-fatal overdoses, they are increasing every month. David says the stress is really getting to both adults and teens.
Well, it's stress. It's people stress, people isolation, people having not sure about the future, not sure what's going to happen with their jobs, what's going to happen with their family, people using substances, which is part of addiction, is people using substances to cope with life stressors.
And it's one of those sort of chicken and egg scenarios, right? Where sometimes we don't know where the substance abuse component comes in and intertwines with the mental health component.
People ask those questions and want to understand which came first, but we really don't get into that. We really want to understand the whole person because they are intertwined, like you say, and they impact each other. We want to be able to address that. And at Hazelden Betty Ford, we have the staff, we have the credentials to kind of help people figure out what's going on and what to address. But when somebody has a substance use disorder, we need to address their stress, which is one of the main reasons people use and one of the reasons they may relapse.
And on the subject of stress, this takes us to another sort of scary subject for all parents whose children are learning remotely right now. And these can be younger kids or even students that are in college. There's a sense of isolation there. There's obviously a routine adjustment that everybody has to make. What are the dangers of substance abuse upticks in those populations?
I think it gets back for, with students and young people is the isolation. Many of us as adults have experienced some form of stressor or significant events in our lives where we've learned to cope. But for the young people, it's been harder because they don't have the experience that others do in coping. And with the isolation, they don't know who to reach out to. So they may use also to cope.
Okay, so as a parent, what can I do and what can other parents do? How can we know that our kid might potentially be going down that road or is already in that situation?
Probably the same as it always has been, is you're looking for changes. You're looking for things not feeling right. And, it could be, leaving the house without knowing where they've gone and they're being secretive about that. It could be finding things in their room. It could be money missing or things missing. Those are things that have always been the kind of signs. The other thing to really look for is look kind of within yourself. If you're not feeling right about something, it's really important not to ignore it. That's hard at these times for parents to be able to do that. They want to just kind of like get through this. And it's important to kind of bring it up with their son or daughter and ask them questions and be interested.
And I know that every family is different and everyone interacts with their kids differently, but is there sort of a standard approach that you can take if you're going to talk to your kid and bring this up? Because you don't want to push them away or push them further down that road. What's the best way to go about it?
Probably a good way to for parents initially is put down the computer, put down the phone, open themselves up for time for them to be approached naturally, with somebody walking through. Be involved with something. Ask them to help you in the kitchen. Ask them to help you with the chores. Maybe do some activity that doesn't involve the TV or FaceTime. The other is to mention what you're seeing, what you're feeling, and ask a question about what you're seeing, and leave the door open. Often, teens don't respond right away. They may respond later. You're setting the groundwork for that by being open, and it's important not to kind of judge their response. They have feelings, they've had experiences, and let's accept those. Let's get our own support where we can tolerate, when our children aren't doing well, when they're struggling. And, sometimes parents need a place to go to be able to get their own support for that, because it's hard to hear our kids aren't having their life go in the direction that we've all imagined it would go.
Such great advice on staying connected to our kids. You can reach out to Hazelden Betty Ford for more resources. Just go to hazeldenbettyford.org. When we come back, the importance of reaching out to seniors while we're in this pandemic and beyond. More after this.